Hey everybody, it's your favorite Minx, and we are back for another episode of the Mindminx Show. We're here at our new home at Bravery Studios, and we have a great guest for you tonight. But first, let's get rid of some homework. So I just want to give a shout out to the official sponsor of the Mindminx Show, Jason Fitness, located in Fairfield, New Jersey. I am a Jason Fitness athlete, so check them out. And all right, I think that's all the homework. I usually forget what I'm supposed to say, but that's okay. I remember along the way, and then I'll interrupt you, but that's okay.
Okay, that works.
So everybody give a big welcome to my guest, Steven. Hi.
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking at, but
So just look straight ahead. It's just let's look at each other.
all right, that's fine.
Okay. So I want to give you a big thank you for coming on the show. I want to let everybody know that I met you at the premiere of Is Eight Enough? A royal family film, and big shout out to Uniquely Coordinated. They are my management team, so that's how I got to be a part of the event. And you were one of the main actors of the show, of the movie show. Listen to me. How was that experience for you?
I would say it was unique in the sense that a lot of the times that when I did have to act, it was almost like improv. Not in the sense that
Okay.
I would have to not have a script, but a lot of times when I did show up to the scene, I had to end up with a new script. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, the cast and the crew were the best part of creating this movie because it just felt like family.
Yeah. That's what you got. So I got to interview you, just a micro interview at the theater. And that was the big consensus of the night, that it felt like a family, that you guys were all really close. I really enjoyed the film. You had a very unique part. You were part of the group of teenagers. And you guys are super funny. You did look like you guys knew each other forever. And when filming wrapped up, did you guys stay in touch?
Yeah, we all have each other's contacts for the most part. Everybody has their own thing going on for like their acting or music, and we might be shooting maybe a new film
Nice.
later this year for the most part.
That's exciting. As an ensemble altogether, or like as
Yeah,
another extension?
I'll say it's in the air,
Oh,
but I would wait like a month or two just to see if that's an actual thing.
I get it. I get it. So, how did you get into acting?
I got into acting during COVID, I guess 2020. I was boxing competitively, and then that shit happened, and I worked at Amazon at the factory because it was one of the few jobs that were open
Mm-hmm.
to work for. And then I guess I was just stacking boxes, and I was just really friendly, outgoing because like the only people that you can really talk to at the time were people at Amazon. So I just
Sure.
made friends with with the managers, and just just vibing, just cooling with anybody really for the most part. So I guess this lady that I was stacking boxes with said that I had a face and personality for acting and that I should give it a shot. So I was like, why not? And then that's how I started my journey.
Nice. Where did that start for you? Like, did you go into an agency or?
Yeah, I didn't get no agency. It was mostly freelance. I'm still kind of freelance,
Okay.
and I guess I just asked around
Okay.
like what I should do.
Sure.
And then some people actually had some experience acting. I was first put on to do like I guess central casting, just for background work to understand what happens behind the scene.
Sure.
I did background for like a year, and then I just stopped eh, doing that and just focused on just getting gigs.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I had a guide of some sense to get like my headshots. I was like first step, and and like some like casting network, like backstage and all those stuff for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of actually getting gigs and getting a resume, because I wanted a resume before I started going out and
Sure.
asking for agencies or management.
Mm-hmm. So since COVID, you've been doing this. What's your favorite project that you've done besides Is Eight Enough?
I'd say I'd say there was one time I was at a beach and I was just promoting like a health brand for
Okay.
skincare and hair care, and it was just just playing around at the beach with like with I was only male out of all the females, so that was pretty cool.
Well, you have hair to be envious of. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that you would have your hair out like you
Oh
did.
yeah. No. It's I try to keep it maintained, because if I just let it out, it just starts breaking
Oh,
and gets
really?
really nappy. No, it's hard to maintain. So I put it in twists or braids for the most part and just leave it there. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to my hair. And it just helps with retaining length for the most part. Yeah.
But I understand completely why you were chosen for a hair.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely want to see if I could like have some type of brand sponsorship for hair alone, because that sounds like easy money. Like I just wake up,
Plug
I
right
wake up
now.
and just have like an afro, like bam, that's what you wanted, right? I'll get there,
You definitely get manifest that shit. Say it out loud. You just said it out loud, so you're putting it out into the universe.
of course.
So,
You got it.
well, I was just gonna continue. So you did some hair care products, and then how did you get connected with Royal Family Films and Alonzo?
A friend of a friend. Actually, it was Tiffany, one of the actors in the film. I actually shot a scene with her. She was a detective, and she was kind of interrogating me, not really.
Okay.
But yeah, she was kind of pressing up on me with the guy who played Suge Knight.
Right.
It was dope. We had a
That
really
was in the hallway.
yeah, we had a pretty cool improv scene. I had my giant afro. He was going, I don't know, he was like gonna roast me about my afro, and I was gonna roast him for him having a baldy. That was pretty dope, but they cut that out. I mean,
Aw.
it is what it is, um, but yeah, she put me onto Alonzo, and Alonzo just hit me up like, "Hey, do an audition." I did the audition, and he saw a character that I would fit in, so that was that. And he was a dope person, as it is.
He's super sweet. I've known him for a couple of years now. So it's nice. But do you ever get casted, or do you put out the fact that you know, competitively were boxing, or is that part of your resume?
Yeah, so any skill that you have, even if it's like novice, which I'm not a novice, well, yeah, I'm not a novice boxer. Any skill that you have, you should just put it down. Like you just want to accumulate skills. Like if you're not working on your craft as a actor, you just gotta work on yourself as like a person, like
Mm-hmm.
learn new languages, maybe an instrument, dancing. Building your portfolio that way will increase the amount of jobs you get.
An exposure that you're
Yeah,
given. So have you ever gotten any roles for like sport related roles?
I probably did. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, so busy he doesn't remember. Love it.
um, I'm gonna say no, but I probably did. Uh,
Well, this was the interesting part for me. The reason why so by the way, everybody that I met that I interviewed, I forced them to follow me right then and there. And it was on camera, so they couldn't get away with not following me. But I got to see your page, and it was all of this boxing. And I just recently took up kickboxing, so it was a really cool connection. And first thing that I said was, I have a hard time putting my reps on my hands. And I remember what you said, that you like after the fifth time you start like ragging on your students.
Yeah, I want. I'll. Yeah, for the time, I'll be like, "Yo, are you learning?" Because from the get go, I'll teach you how to put on wraps, and I guess by like the third week, you should be having the.
All right, so on my left hand, I can put it on perfectly because I'm a righty. But as soon as I try to put them on my right hand, it gets all discombobulated.
Oh.
I'm trying. I'm only 2 months in.
Hey, I mean, is it? Do you do like 1-on-ones?
Yeah, but I'm not. There's no sparring. It's just like how you're holding the mitts.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, they don't show you no love with the hand wraps.
Well, my coach did the first time. Then he's like, you got to
Yeah.
figure it out on your own now.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Oh, he was just like me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I needed to ask because looking through your Instagram and the boxing experience that you have, I thought you were a teenager or like 19, 20, 21. I would have given you 22 at best. How old actually are you?
I'm turning 28 this year.
Really? I was still not even going to guess that
Are
high.
you serious? I don't think I look that young.
Yeah, you do.
I got big eyes, maybe. A big smile.
So that makes me feel better because, like, you know, you've been doing this. For how long have you been doing boxing?
Boxing, I've been doing it since I was 18. I took a hiatus, like a 2-year hiatus. Like I guess 3 years. I never really left, but I couldn't. I wasn't competing as much as I would like to, because of COVID and all the restrictions that were being held in place, and not having a home gym to actually go to.
Okay.
So that's also why I transitioned. Like, the whole point of me transitioning into acting. But as I say, if you are displaced from where you are at and you had no control over, I just see that as like a sign from God to, like, all right, well, you did your thing here, and now you're going over there. So that's how I see it.
But are you still training people now?
I'm training. I am training people now, but I'm only really training people that I mess with,
Okay.
or I think are like really invested into it.
Okay.
Because that is not my main source of income right now. But if enough clients, and to be honest, training clients takes a lot of energy out of you. So that's why I don't want to like have like a big clientele, just straight up just train people, because you yourself aren't going to have enough energy to train yourself.
Right.
So that's a drawback of having a lot of clients, and then also having to be healthy for yourself. You're going to get like lack of sleep, not eating as healthy because you're on a time crunch between clients.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the only way to really pop off as a trainer is like if you have like an
Like a
online
team?
course for the
Okay.
most part.
Now, do you find that, because I've seen, on your Instagram page, you work with kids, you work with all different age groups. There was an older gentleman. I thought that was cute. But do you feel that you lean more towards a certain age group? Like, do you want to help the kids, or like how?
I don't really lean towards any age group. I just lean towards anybody that wants to learn how to box. I don't just hold mitts just to hold mitts. I give like real life applications to boxing, or if I just look at you, I know what your strengths or weaknesses would be. I'll tell you, like, by your reach, your body shape, how you can use your height. I just implement all these things. I'm not just gonna hold mitts for you and just go with the flow.
Right.
Like, if you look ugly, I'm not gonna give you like a 20 punch combination and make us both look bad. Like,
Wait. What do you mean look ugly?
Like, if you like, sometimes you'll see these rappers hold mitts, and it's just like, mind you, I'm an advocate for doing your best and trying to learn skills. Like, no one should be made fun of for trying to like be better at something. But I also don't like when people lie to you in terms of how good you look. You should post your progress, but there's a difference between celebrating progress and celebrating because you think you look good.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. So, but do you find that your students are willing to improve, or do you find that some of them is that possibly why you stopped?
No, I stopped because it was just life. There's a lot of financial stress. It was like it's hard to continuously look for clients and then have to deal with like other life stuff, and then sometimes there's a slow period in getting clients. And mind you, boxing is a small niche in terms of the overall fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just grab. It's easier if you're just like lifting weights or, you know, I mean, having niche is important to like grow as a person, but in terms of starting out, it's kind of hard to like grab
A large group.
a large
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, there's only there's only ever been 4 people in my kickboxing class.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that.
Also, I just don't. I mean, for me, it's not the funnest just to do uh like a like boxing class type teaching. Just like throw 1, 2, 3s. Like when I teach, I'm just like too anal. So like, if your foot is like a centimeter off, I'm just pointing it out like, hey, you gotta fix that. If you're solid, your chin's not solid, you tucked a certain way. If you're not, turning your punches correctly, or you're not whipping it, then I'll just point it out. If you're dropping your hands, I'm pointing it out.
Right.
So I don't.
Well, no, I appreciate that. My coach says that too. That's something that if you're actually interested in learning and getting the proper form, that's not going to bother you as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? If your coach is pointing this out, it's important.
Yeah. And I don't want people to learn the martial arts, because the whole point of learning a martial arts is be able to handle yourself in any circumstances. I believe that you know how to, you've learned some type of discipline, whether it be boxing, BJJ, wrestling. You have a certain confidence in yourself where if you didn't know how to defend yourself at all, you're gonna be always in this state of anxiousness. And no one wants to be like that.
Right.
Just all they can do is wishful think that they're gonna be okay, and that's never okay. Like,
I agree with you, but I still don't know if I could defend myself. Like, yes, I know how to block or whatever, but
you don't have to beat the person up. I believe my go-to is, all right, I know how to box, but I'll probably punch someone and probably run away before I try to like finish the job. I think you're better off knowing something than nothing.
Right.
Is what
I
would
agree.
say.
I like that. And do you think that you having professionally competed has formed your opinion of that, like when it comes to training other people?
Yeah. I would never train somebody and have them have the same type of technique 5 weeks later.
Right.
They're gonna be at least better than the average person.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your experience for yourself competing. How did you, out of all of the different arts that you could have chosen, why boxing?
Because the money was there at the time when I started. Yeah, but in terms of combat, honestly, it's funny enough, I really got into combat because of watching Bruce Lee.
Really?
Yeah, Enter the Dragon was my shit. Yeah.
So is it just straight boxing, or do you do kickboxing as well?
I don't do kickboxing. I did work for a martial arts gym, so they taught me how to do Muay Thai and BJJ, and it's fun and interesting.
So if you had to choose right now one of the mixed martial arts, which one would you choose? If you've already done Muay Thai and BJJ, would you be able to choose one over the other?
In terms of what?
Let's say tomorrow they said you have to choose one. You can't.
I'm just sticking to boxing.
Okay, so not even the martial. Okay.
I mean, if it wasn't boxing, I'd say Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more shit to use.
So where have you competed for the boxing?
So boxing, mostly Golden Gloves. I competed this year, and I only really had a month to train, and and uh and I was like three weight classes above my original weight class. So I competed at 132 initially, then I bumped up to 156, and I was still kind of underweight, but I only had a less than a month to actually drop down weight, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, there would be muscle loss as opposed to.
Yeah, it's just it was just too much. But I went to the finals, and my opponent was pretty good. Was really good actually. You know, he himself won belts, and the better man won that night, and that was him. But I probably should have had more training and also dropped the weight class.
Okay. Okay.
Before I had the chance. But I'm not mad at it. It was part of my journey.
Okay.
Um,
How many competitions have you been a part of?
3.
3.
Yeah.
What is training for something like that like?
Training, proper training,
Yeah.
which I didn't do for my last one, is you run like several miles a day, have a sprint. For example, maybe like run 4 miles one day, do like 10 rounds of the bag, then like another 6 rounds on mitts, and then also like 3 rounds jump rope. Like you're gonna separate your rounds between a speedy bag, a heavy bag, and a double end bag, like just the whole shebang.
All right, so the whole shebang. What's the difference between those 3 things that you just said?
A heavy bag is the one that you usually just see hanging from the wall.
Okay.
The speed bag is like this
Oh,
shit.
the little one. Okay.
And the double end bag is when the ball is in the middle, and the 2 strings hold it.
Oh, okay.
So you hit it, and you just use it to like use like feint counter for the most part and catch a rhythm. It's almost like a speed bag because the rhythm is all the same. You could hit the double end bag with your eyes closed at a certain point.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Now, when it comes to footwork, was that something that you were naturally?
Yeah, I was naturally good at footwork. Yeah,
Okay.
I played ball beforehand, so hand speed, hand coordination, and foot coordination just came easier to me.
Like the main, I think that's my biggest issue. Like
my feet are stupid fast.
all right, no, I feel like so. My coach calls me a statue. We got to stop getting me to be a statue because it's hard for me to integrate everything. As I get more comfortable, I'm able to do a little bit better with the footwork. But I'm only 2 months in, so I'm not.
Oh yeah,
I'm
don't
not
worry
mad.
about it. I say when he calls you a statue, is it because you're flat-footed?
A little bit, yeah. He's like, if you're on your heels, it's not a good deal.
Okay. And what martial art is this?
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing? Yeah, kickboxing is a little bit more fluid than Muay Thai, so you're not so flat-footed. Oh yeah, just I mean, do you stay on your toes when you?
I'm trying to get used to that.
Yeah, so that's one of the. I've noticed some of the few things that people struggle with is staying on their toes, and honestly, it's just like low-key muscle endurance.
Yeah.
Like if you're not constantly jump roping, you're not gonna have that spring to your step.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm starting to get more comfortable with it. I think it's awkward is how I would put it. They're like, how did that uppercut feel? It felt awkward. Well, now I don't say it's awkward anymore. I've gotten more comfortable with how that movement actually is and should be.
A lot of times it's just repetition and your body getting used to the biomechanics of said punch or said movement.
And the hips, like it's surprising how poorly people move their hips.
Oh yeah, hips can get tight if you don't use them. 100%.
And we do a lot of mobility in between. So we're like working out for like a full 2 hours, but there's mobility in between.
How's kicking a bag? That's one thing I hated in Muay Thai. My shins, I could never really get used to like kicking, and that was one of the things I hated. The very few times that I did spar in Muay Thai is the damn kicks.
Well, so we don't kick a bag. We're kicking the mitt. Or the we hold but they're not small like yours. It's like
the square ones, yeah.
Yeah, the whole length of the arm. So that's what we're kicking. It doesn't bother me. Like I bruised up the first couple of times, but now I think my legs are used to it. But it's definitely the more of the hip mobility and whipping it around, and then regaining my balance. Because that's another thing. How is it? Because I've seen you do that with your clients that you post on Instagram, that it's very fluid. The punches, it's not like just one punch and then the second punch and then the third punch. It's, well, speed, yes, like, but it just looks all like one movement. It doesn't look like three separate. Is that something that with it, time and experience will become more?
Time, yeah. It's always, you're gonna, if you take an experienced boxer and give them a year layoff, they're not gonna be as fluid. They're not gonna be as crisp. A lot of it is just muscle memory. So, and when it comes to beginners, usually what happens is that as time goes on, punching within the same day, their arms get more tired, and so they naturally learn to use their body to perform the punch, which is instead of just arm punching,
right,
being so mechanical. And that's where they get the oh, this is how you're supposed to turn and punch and whip your body in order to give a correct punch.
I remember the first time I held the mitts for my partner, my shoulders, and I lift weights, so I'm able to do this. My shoulders were burning just from holding them like this, but it's pretty cool. I don't mind holding the mitts. I like that, actually.
Yeah, shoulder endurance is something that people don't actually are aware of. So when I started boxing, I'm like, whoa, this is only the first round, and my arms are like dead.
Burning. They were burning. And I was just holding it up like this. I didn't even have to actually start not hitting back, but like meeting them halfway with their punches. But now it's more exciting. It definitely feels better now that I feel comfortable doing the movements. So you've been doing this for 10 years, or you took a little hiatus. What do you hope to accomplish with the boxing? Do you have any goals?
I think boxing is just another avenue I might explore later down the line.
Okay.
I have good friends in boxing with good connection. It's, I'm always gonna be a fan of combat, so I might get involved. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be like a Joe Rogan, but I could definitely see myself interacting with fighters and maybe documenting the journey or showing a different side to them.
Gotcha.
And to the public. I want to show that a lot of fighters they're not just fighters. I mean, like, if they have like a art background, maybe like painting, or because other than what people do as a profession, which boxing is a profession for these fighters, I'm pretty sure they're more complicated than just that. Like they're more than just their job.
They have more dimensions than just this one.
Or how they even came to be a certain mindset. I was always interested in the mindset of a fighter, of a champion for the most part. Not every champion have the same mindset, but they're relatively similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you gotten to ask any of the fighters that you've met where their journey started or why?
Yeah. I've done. Some were in unfortunate events or circumstances. Some were in middle class and they have the talents and skills and backing for it. Some are part of boxing royalties where their fathers and uncles, which is a super big help to becoming a champion, like fighter, or in any sport. You'll notice that a lot of these athletes had a father figure or uncle that were already in the pros.
Gotcha.
I mean, LeBron's a unicorn because he didn't have someone in his life that was. So Kobe Bryant's father was a pro basketball player. Steph Curry's father was a pro basketball player.
Right.
Mayweather's dad and uncle were boxers.
Okay, so it was already that's almost a legacy type of.
Ryan Garcia's parents were involved in boxing or uncle. So it's like, sometimes people don't see the background of what makes a fighter a fighter. There's many ways to reach the top.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that those types of athletes, though, the legacy ones, have an upper hand because their
Yeah,
whole
they
life?
definitely
Yeah.
do. 100%. Um, they have. I would say that they they have an advantage because they have someone backing them. A lot of times you'll see fighters the fighters have to like work, especially UFC fighters initially, because there's no legacy to UFC really. A lot of the UFC fighters have been like construction workers before they even became champions.
Mm.
A lot of them. So um, we're probably going to see more polished fighters into going to UFC because now UFC became a big brand and is making more money now. And a lot of the champions were in their mid to late 30s in UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in boxing, since there is legacy, a lot of these champions are really young.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for all of us out here, what is the weight? Because you said you were in a weight class, and
My weight class is considered welterweight. I know there's different weight classes when it comes to amateur and pro. It was 156.
but what does welterweight mean? Is it just literally a name for that?
Yeah, it's no. I don't know
okay.
what the Latin word for welterweight is.
Oh.
Yeah. It's from like 140 to 156.
So it's just literally what weight you are in order to be more balanced with who you're competing against.
Yeah, you don't see me fighting someone like Anthony Joshua.
I don't know who that is.
It's he beat up Ngannou. You don't know who Ngannou is? Oh, okay. We have to go back into acting. Yeah.
I know Rocky.
You know Rocky.
I know Rocky.
Yeah. But yeah, so having a good backing, whether it be in sports or acting, or music, there's plenty of examples of people with legacies of prior said skill. But I would say benefit of not having legacy is innovation and grit.
Okay.
And that's for more of the long run.
Okay.
And if you're able to pass, that initial stage of being at the bottom, you're just never going to lose that hunger to keep climbing higher and higher.
How long were you training before you competed the first time?
I say a year.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's all. I was staying in the gym for like 8 hours a day.
Okay. So that was life.
Yeah.
That was life. Okay. So do you think that's typical though?
No.
No, it's not. Okay.
No, I was really trying to be like a champion. But things didn't fall, into that favor. Who knows? Maybe I will get back into competing when, if I have a spark for it, or, back then I didn't really have financial backing for it.
Okay.
But who knows? You never know. I mean, honestly, fuck it. Jake Paul is fighting, and he's making more money than pro boxers. And at the end of the day, fighters care about money. Because legacy, people are fickle. They'll just turn on you. Oh, he didn't fight this and that. You're going to be always chasing someone's validation. So
right.
At the end of the day, money is probably more important than legacy. Unless the legacy that you're taking account for is helping people.
Okay.
That matters more than just awards.
Okay. So speaking of Jake Paul, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
What did you think of it's canceled now, right? The Mike Tyson?
It moved to November.
It moved. I thought it was canceled.
November.
What do you think of all that? Like I've heard that he had all of these rules and stipulations that Mike had to adhere to.
I just want Mike to be healthy enough to knock him out, honestly. And I have nothing against Jake Paul, but I just want to see Mike Tyson. I want to see vintage Mike Tyson and see if he can, not let his age be a factor in his performance, which I still think it is, but hopefully he's on secret juice.
Secret juice.
And so he'll fight like how he used to. I'm pretty sure Jake is on something too, because he looks yeah, he looks way bigger, unhealthy.
Unhealthy big though,
Yeah, on
right?
200 pounds. Like when you move up in weight, especially when you're from coming from a lighter weight class, you can move up in weight faster, but your inside, your circulatory system, now it has to be able to perform with the new weight, being able to carry that new weight. So now it has to be, now your body has to, create new blood vessels to provide oxygen to all
Interesting.
this weight. Yeah, so when fighters go up in weight, they don't just most of the time just fight the best fighters. They had to get acclimated to that weight and for the
Interesting.
body to adjust. So when the fighter goes up the weight class, they'll fight. They'll have tune-up fights before they fight the champion because that champion is a natural at that weight.
Right.
Their body, their bones, their circulatory system are now has adjusted to that. So
Wow, I didn't even think about
so
that.
if
Yeah.
Jake Paul just jumped weight, he's gonna struggle with um his stamina. Like you cannot escape that.
Do you think that's why they pushed it?
I don't think that's why they pushed it.
No.
I'm pretty sure Mike Tyson like hurt himself. When you're that old, your ligaments are just like brittle. Yeah.
But how old is he? He's like 60,
Yeah, he's like
right?
60,
Wow.
fighting a 25-year-old.
But why do you think that they are doing this? Like, I understand why Mike Tyson accepted
Yeah,
it, but
different. I
why?
say it for different reasons. Mike Tyson might be just bored with life, and you know, and he sees a kid that had fights that were probably paid off or rigged in some manner to his favor, or he just cherry picked a bit. I mean, that's fine. The whole point is to sell a fight at the end of the day.
Sure.
So he did that, and he won enough times to get the attention of Mike Tyson. Where Mike Tyson was like, you know what, this seems like easy money, and I won't be paid off to lose. So
Oh, good
for
point.
him, it's like a win-win. Like I have the experience and the natural weight to beat this guy,
Right.
even though he's younger than me, and
How
he
does
gets
that
more
work, do you
notoriety.
think? How do you think that works? Because isn't Jake Paul like MMA?
Jake Paul was never MMA. He was boxing.
It was
Strictly boxing.
regular boxing.
He,
Oh,
he,
okay, okay.
so people of MMA went to fight him. That's mostly
Oh,
what it is.
okay, okay.
That's where he got notoriety. He made beef with the UFC by beating UFC fighters past their
Okay.
prime.
Past their prime
past their prime, yeah, or paid off.
or paid off.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that he was an actor. Because I was gonna say, does that create a disadvantage when your discipline is one art versus another?
100%.
Like I feel like boxing has a lot of strict. Like I can't use my knee like in regular boxing, but I'm learning that in kickboxing. So it's an interesting dance, so to speak, to have a mixed martial art and then do American boxing.
In terms of movement,
Yeah, in
yeah.
terms of
So
yeah.
a great example is in Muay Thai, you wouldn't be rolling or ducking as much because you might get a knee or a kick. Might run into a knee or a kick. So you'll see Muay Thai fighters that go and do a boxing match. They'll end up suffering because they don't use their head movement as much as defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, there are a few Muay Thai fighters like Lordzilla that can move and duck and weave
Mm-hmm.
in such a manner, but that's one of the few Muay Thai fighters that can do that. Yeah, so boxing can't go to MMA and think they can win, and I don't think an MMA fighter can go into boxing and
Against
think
right.
they can win. Remember, but to that degree, I'd say congrats to Ngannou for going as far as he did. And
Tell us who Ngannou is because now.
Ngannou, I don't know, man. I'm surprised. I don't think he's that much of an underground fighter. He's probably one of the biggest UFC champions that were known. He fought Tyson Fury. Do you know Tyson Fury?
I want to say I've heard the name, but
Tyson Fury is it was the current was the heavyweight champion until he lost to Usyk, who's now the undisputed heavyweight champion. That hasn't happened in like 20 years.
wow.
10 or 20 years, I forgot. I don't know. It's been a decade. So, yeah, he fought Tyson Fury. and he made Tyson Fury take a knockdown, and all the UFC people were like, "Oh, boxing, this and that," and then he fought. Styles make fights, so he fought a boxer puncher, Anthony Joshua, with some pop to his step and a little bit more quicker speed um, than Tyson Fury, and I knew that was a bad matchup for Ngannou because at this point Anthony Joshua was more comfortable with his skills, and he fought Usyk, who's not the current champion, and so there's nothing that Ngannou could have done technically wise to overcome Anthony Joshua.
And Ngannou is a regular boxer?
I would say he would still be considered a novice boxer.
Novice boxer, okay.
Yeah. But in heavyweight, you could kind of get away with becoming a champion through power alone.
Okay. So what do you feel is your biggest inspiration, like boxer-wise? Like for me, boxing, I only know like Rocky.
No. Yeah, he's imaginary.
It doesn't matter. It was a great story.
Honestly, I don't really have a favorite, really. I just admire the whole a conglomerate of boxers, like Mayweather's defensive prowess with the shoulder roll, or Sweet Pernell Whitaker and his rolling and his evasive maneuvers and his use of footwork. Sugar Ray Robinson, his tenacity and volume and speed and charisma. Hands of Stone. I can't believe who lost to Sugar Ray. I forgot his name, but just I admire. It's too much to like. Oh, this is not winning. Yeah,
right. So there's different parts of each that
I would just pick out for myself, and I just So I don't. It's hard to have a favorite when there's so much good boxing out there.
And so, was this something you always had a passion for?
Oh, I had a passion for combat always in martial arts in general.
Okay.
But I just picked up boxing because it was the most readily available.
Okay.
Because martial arts was still kind of newish, so you don't really find that much martial arts gyms with credibility.
Gotcha.
As much as you would.
Well,
find
I didn't even know what Muay Thai was or BJJ was until a couple of years ago. I feel like that all of a sudden, all these guys are doing that.
Yeah, you just knew Rocky.
I just knew Rocky. That's all I needed to know was Rocky and Apollo. Everybody knows Apollo. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming. Where do you hope that you end up in this journey for yourself?
A big bag and an island, but at the end, I would wish to be looking back and being happy that I did as much as I could do.
Okay.
And that I'll be able to help and give back. I think that's my goal. I want to be able to help a mass amount of people, because at the end of the day, it's everybody on this earth. We're all together, so definitely would want to be able to make an impact for the better.
Love that. Love that. Well, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Be Fit Boxing. That's my current fitness page. I'll be making an acting page with all the stuff I've done for the past 2 years and for future content. So if you follow me Be Fit Boxing, you'll see when that happens.
I'll have the link, and everybody who's watching on the live will be able to see it. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. This was a great story. I love this. It was completely staged because I'm into kickboxing now, so I wanted to talk to him about boxing. All right, so that's all the time that we have for today. So don't forget, it's a brand new week, so go own it and mind your favorite minx and join us next time. Peace out, everybody.